Today is January the 13th, 2025. The time now is 4 p.m. This will begin the recording for the Safety and Security Committee meeting for the Brazosport Independent School District. Alrighty, right now I've got 4 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get the meeting started so we can be a good steward of everyone's time. If you have not done so yet, if you can go into the calendar invite and pull up the attendance roster and then go to the January 13th, 2025 tab and put an X next to your name and the organization you're with so we can capture your attendance here at the meeting. So before we get started, just need to read the meeting notice. This is a regular meeting of the Safety and Security meeting of the Brazosport Independent School District, which will be held today, January 13th, 2025, beginning at 4 p.m. This meeting is being held virtually in accordance with the statutory policies, and it meets all requirements of the Open Meetings Act. So before we begin, is there any information for the good of the order before we get started? All right, hearing none, we will go ahead and get started. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will then move into the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God and one and indivisible. Move into the next slide. I need to play you guys a quick short video. If you can just stand by for 1 second.
I'm Michelle Gay, a former elementary school teacher, mother of 3, and now the co-founder and executive director of Safe and Sound Schools. On December 14, 2012, our family and our community was changed forever when a 20-year-old man attacked our elementary school, Sandy Hook School, taking from us 26 irreplaceable schools, 20 beautiful first graders, and 6 beloved educators, one of whom was our youngest daughter, Josephine. As our family began picking up the pieces of our lives, we kept coming back to our Joey as North. We thought about how she loved her friends, her school, and her community, and how we could best honor her. We weren't alone. Shortly after the tragedy, I met another mother, the mother of Emily Parker, Joey's dear friend. And we joined together to build a legacy of safety in honor of our precious daughters who loved school so much. Now, over 10 years later, Safe and Sound Schools stands strong in its mission to help school communities prevent, respond to, and recover from crisis. It's hard work, like many of you know, but I'm here to tell you that there's healing in helping. I've met incredible leaders, inspiring survivors, and connected with other high-impact organizations dedicated to making a difference. Among them, our partners in school safety at the Texas School Safety Center and at Alert. These folks tasked us with creating a one-of-a-kind school safety response curriculum based on CRACE, the Citizens' Response to Active Shooter Events, and Safe and Sound Schools developmentally appropriate educational resources and guidance. Our charge was to create educational activities to teach all school community members from kindergarten to high school to staff their very own age and ability appropriate options for safety. And I'm proud to say that we did just that. It's called Staying Safe, School Safety Response Training. And it was developed with a multidisciplinary team of subject matter experts from Safe and Sound Schools, including CRACE trainers. I'm thrilled to announce the launch of this new training curriculum this school year with the Texas School Safety Center. We'll make our way to each ESD to present this optional K-12 Train the Trainer safety response training for schools. Due to the sensitive nature of the training, district staff will need approval from the district's School Safety and Security Committee to attend the training. We're excited to share this new one-of-a-kind curriculum, and we hope you'll join us to explore the program to prepare your school community for a positive and proactive approach to staying safe. Thank you.
So with that being said, with that short video, the training is coming up on Thursday, and in order for the Mr. Whitehead, Detective Cantu, and myself to attend this training, we need the approval of the safety committee to make that happen. So we're formally asking you to be in compliance with the Texas School Safety Center and TEA if we can get your permission and approval to attend this training, which is coming up this Thursday. So with that, if I can take a vote, if anybody has an objection to us going, if you can acknowledge that by saying nay, and if you're okay with the group listed, Deputy Superintendent Whitehead, Detective Cantu, and myself going, if we're got your proof.
I say yes.
All right, perfect. All right, so all those in favor of that saying they're yes, if we can just take a quick vote. Here, yes.
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 All right. Are there any nays? All right, not hearing any nays. That's a moot point. So on Thursday we'll go to that training, see what they got to offer, and then we'll bring that back to the district. It being a trainer, they'll give us the information we need to come back and then be able to facilitate that training with our students and our staff. So we'll stand by. We'll give you a report when we get back on what that looks like. So next slide up will be, let's talk about the safety committee agenda. So far, the Texas School Safety Audit Cycle again has begun for the 2023 through 2026 cycle. Right now, listed there for you which ones have been completed. Again, just minor issues that were found that were easily corrected. And then we have Freeport Intermediate. It's going to be this coming Friday. And then, of course, Freeport Elementary will be in February. And then Lake Jackson Intermediate will be in March, which will round out our audits for this year. Any questions on that one? Seeing none, moving over to the next slide. Remember we talked about we did the District of Vulnerability Assessment with TEA. It was the model that they were rolling out across the state, and we were one of the first ones to volunteer to use their rubric of what it would look like so they can fine-tune it. And again, we told you we had some minor issues that we needed corrected. We corrected that information and sent it back to TEA, and we got another notice from TEA that they believed that we did what we said we did, but they needed the proof. They needed to see pictures and other documentation. So we had to go back through and redo all these things to show them that we did. Door-to-door closures, SPAT protocols, bullet-resistant film on all exterior doors, peepholes put in the doors, and these are particularly mechanical doors at the back of the schools or classroom doors that had doors in them that open outside to the exterior. Needed some kind of peephole or camera so the teacher or person on the inside could see on the other side of the door. Door numbering, before they told us that the maintenance doors didn't need to be numbered, but then they came back and said they did, so we had to go back and redo that. Roof access, even though we had the roofs chained off with clips to prevent them from being pried open from the outside, they specifically wanted padlocks on these latches so students that may have been in crisis wouldn't climb up on the ladder, get to onto the roof, and then harm themselves by jumping off. So we had to go back and do that. We had to get a good cause exception waiver removed because we had level 3s in place in all our elementary campuses. We had to deploy Knox boxes. We had to have secure fencing in areas that we had doors open, particularly like shop areas or lunchroom areas, and then open gates. So what we did, just to kind of show you what we submitted, we went back through and pulled all the work, just an example of the workflow process that the Maintenance and Operations Center under Taylor scheme, Segway takes care of. And we gave them just the actual spreadsheet, like hundreds of pages we just sent in. But just for here, we just took a snapshot, to show you what we sent, and then we sent them actually, what a work order would look like when it was put in, and then when it was completed. So to just, satisfy their curiosity that it was done what said was done. Then the other thing they wanted to talk about our silent panic alert technology. They needed to make sure that we had that in place, other than to say yes, every staff member has a badge. So we pulled the invoice to show, the amount we paid, for that system to be in place here for the district. For the bullet resistant film, again, there was a requirement that every exterior door needed to have film on it that if it was shot, the window would not fall out. So what we did is we pulled an email that I sent showing the ones that had already been done, and then just a sample invoice of that we received for the payment. And I'm happy to report that every school that needed bullet-resistant film placed on the exterior doors, and then windows next to those exterior doors that somebody can shoot out and reach around, have all been coated with bullet-resistant film. And this is just a copy of the receipt and an email showing that was done. The peepholes, this is as an example what the peepholes look like. We've put a peephole every place that was needed to be done on all the exterior doors and all classrooms that have an exterior door. And then that's just to show the sign that you can just move it out of the way and you can see, to show them so you can look on the outside. And then here's the door numbering. Before, they wanted the mechanical rooms numbered, so we numbered them. So we got them 12, and then if there are multiple doors in that same area, we number them 12, then 12A, 12B, 12C, and so on. So just an example for that, and we sent them the pictures for all that to show that. The other requirement they had was that we had to number all the exterior doors with a number on the outside, but then also there was a requirement under the FCC, the Fire Communications Code, that you have to put a number at the bottom of the door opposite the hinge, contrasting color to the frame. So this is just an example of what Joe Bogle went back through in the maintenance shop at all our doors. They accomplished that. Here's the roof access, where we're showing we're going to a roof access, enter in the room, and then at the very top, every one of our roof access now have a combination lock up top. And the maintenance department just chose to do a combination lock versus a key, because it's easier, I guess, to just try and fumble the numbers while you're trying to hang on to the ladder rung to put the number in to get the lock off, versus trying to hang on to the ladder, find a key, get the key into the little lock, and turn it at the same time. But all the roof hatches are latched down, so kids can't get up there and do any harm to themselves. Then here, this is just a copy of the meeting notice for the Board of Trustees and their notes, where the good cause exception was brought up and the level 3s were discussed, and let them know that we would be using level 3 safety and security personnel at all our campuses to make sure we had a gun on every campus all day. And this is just an example of the district's first iteration of bringing level 3 armed security guards. This is what they look like in their uniforms. Right now we're in cycle number 5, actually cycle 6 starting today. Yeah, bringing level 3 safety specialists on board. So we have them at all secondary campuses. At the high school, they got 2 extra guns. At Brazosport, at Brazoswood, they have 1 extra gun. At all the elementaries, there is a level 3 armed security guard on every campus. So right now we're at 16, and the one we hired today, we did interviews today for the 6th round, and that'll be the number 117th once we get through the process. And this is basically what they look like. So round 1, this is the ones that went to AUG. Those were the first 4 that you saw in the picture. Then round 2, we put them at AP Boyle, Brandon, Freeport Elementary. Round 3, we had some extras, so we made Mike Cooper and Josh Butler floaters. So when someone's off, they can have the ability to go and backfill. Then round 4, we did level 3s at Brazosport and Brazoswood. They took the level 2s they had and bumped them up. And level 5, we're completing. We'll be moving to Lake Jackson, Clute Intermediate, and Freeport Intermediate all in place. And then round 6, we've got another extra one that'll be going to Brazoswood. Any questions on that one? And then here are the Knox boxes. So we've got, it's just a representation of one sitting on the table with the arrow pointing next to it. And basically it's just a big metal box that you put outside of your facility. And there's a requirement, they have them now for the fire department, but the fire department key only opens the fire department box. And the fire department does not share that key with local law enforcement, because if that key is lost, it opens every single box in that entire city, because it's a requirement by statute. So what we're doing is putting a law enforcement Knox box at all our facilities, and the reason why there's 90 of them, we put them in strategic locations in the front and the back, because we don't know where our event may happen at, so you need to have those keys in multiple locations so law enforcement can gain entry into your facility. We will give them, each agency, multiple keys that they can distribute to their law enforcement patrols. So if an event happens, they roll up to those doors, they use that key that we give them, and then inside of that box will be a BISD access control swipe card, so they can swipe the doors, and it will be copies of master keys for every lock in the building that they're entering. We just finished getting the box in. We got all the boxes prepped, and hopefully next week we'll start working with maintenance and operations to give them a list of where these boxes go, and then we'll turn all those boxes over to them to install them. And then once they're installed, myself and Detective Cantu, working with the campus leadership, will make sure that we put the swipe cards and the master keys inside of those boxes, lock them up, and then we will distribute the keys to the boxes to all our local law enforcement. Any questions on that one? Alrighty, so we've put fences up to show that we put access control fences everywhere, so those are the areas that they're at. So at Lake Jack Intermediate, Clute Intermediate, and FES, Freeport Elementary, they had a need in their cafeteria areas. Outside the cafeteria, they've got seating areas that are green space. So they asked if they could have fencing put up, 6 or 8 feet, so then they could leave those doors open and the students could go outside and eat lunch in the green space, weather permitting. So we took care of that with grant funding, and those schools are complete. And then I think we've talked about before that we ordered the open gate metal detectors, which are state of the art, where the people do not have to empty their pockets. They can just continue to walk through. We got 3 sets of those. They've been deployed at Brazosport High School for 2 weeks just before the Christmas break. And when we got back from the Christmas break last week, we deployed those to Brazoswood so they can use them and get a feel for them and get some feedback on their functionality. And then after that, the cabinet will make a decision of where to deploy these state-of-the-art metal detectors. Any questions on that one? Okay. All right, so the safety committee meeting agenda so far, we have completed all the avoid, deny, defend, or it's also called run, hide, and fight training for all staff. So they have that. We've completed stop the bleed training for all staff, so they're good to go, except for the ones that may be new or came in after the school district started. We've done stop the bleed training, statutory requirement for all 7th graders at Clute Intermediate and FIS. We're scheduling with Lake Jackson Intermediate sometime here in January to do their schools, and once we finish Lake Jackson Intermediate, we'll be statutory compliant with stop the bleed training for this year. Any questions on that one? Again, we're still required to do by under statutory from Texas School Safety Center drill requirements. 1 secure drill, 2 lockdown drills, 1 evacuation, 1 shelter in place, 1 shelter in place for weather, and then 4 fire drills. We continue to meet those across the campuses, and we're documenting those. So if TA or Texas School Safety Center need to see the documentation. And then I'm happy to report for grants, Safe Grant Cycle 1 for TEA. The district just recently issued a $7+ million purchase order to install bi-directional amplifiers and cellular boosters in all our facilities, which is quite a few of them that need them. And basically what this does, which I've talked about it before, it basically pushes and pulls the radio frequencies in and out of the building for emergency personnel. And then it also pushes cellular service in and out of the building for staff for their cell phones. Because right now we got a lot of gaps where we get in some areas and in an emergency you can't get out. So this is going to take care of that. Tentatively, I talked to our vendor. We're going to meet next week to identify the scope of work, and the project is due to be completed by July 31 of 2025. So hopefully within the next 6+ months we should have these definitely needed communication enhancements in all our facilities so we'll be able to communicate in emergency. Any questions on that one? And by doing so, the district, TA had all these rules. We are provisionally compliant with all the requirements based on all the grant money or the things that we've put in place or we have in-house and we're just still implementing them. So we're meeting their requirements, which is quite the undertaking because most districts hadn't really even started. So, and by being provisionally compliant, that now allows us to use the Cycle 2 grant funding that we were awarded, but we couldn't use until we became provisionally compliant in Cycle 1. So now the business office can, I think it was $355,709 they can now use for other needs within the district now that we've become compliant in Cycle 1. Questions on that one? Seeing none, and then that's all we got, folks. So we're at the end. It's been fast and furious, but we've been doing staying on top of stuff, so we're doing pretty good. So I think our next meeting date is May 12th of 2025 at 4 p.m. Again, once we get back from that training from Texas School Safety Center on Thursday, I'll put a brief out just to the group as in an email just to give you an update of what that looks like and then give you an idea what our plan may be moving forward with that training. So before we end, I think that's going to be the quickest one ever. Any questions from the group? Any comments? Deputy Superintendent Whitehead, you got anything you want to add or conclude with, sir?
No, I just appreciate everyone's support of the district and also just emphasize that the level 3 safety specialist being above and beyond the state requirement. That's just a great thing to have additional armed people on our secondary campuses, providing that layer of support for our students and staff. So just, there's a lot of excitement about the things we do, but that piece is really important, as well as just the continuous efforts for grant funds. And you saw the $7 million for communication piece. Those are very specific grants that have to be used on things, and we've found ways to get those large sums of money to increase our responses. So just overall, very excited about the things going on in the district.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. So if anybody have anything else before I go, and say going once, going twice, going 3. All right, y'all have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you in May, if not before. And thank you for attending.
Thank you, guys.
All right, you take care, sir. Bye-bye.